Okay, let's talk about TileSets. A tileset is the graphic we're going to use to render our game with. So first of all, we render it in OpenGL, like the last time. So we need the game to be at this position. We need it to work, and we need it to have it in OpenGL. And we have that, and we know also how to render textures, because that was in the last video. And I have that code commented out here, how to render textures. So let's go to the graph X2, and you can either buy the tile art or you can draw it. So what I did was that I started to draw this guy from, I googled some images and got some inspiration, and then I draw this guy. That's our main character in the game. And then we need to figure out the game tiles. So I just start the drawing and see like how would I like the game to look like in the end, and I came up with this. I'm pretty pleased with that. How that looks. I mean, this looks like game art from a developer, and I am a developer. I'm not a graphic artist, so that's fine by me. I have these small plus signs, which is the food. I have an ice cream truck outside, which is really interesting because it's winter and snow outside. Anyhow, maybe you could hear that. So I take my concept art here and I try to pick out the elements that's smallest element I can from this, and this is the head and the two body parts of the snake and the wall segments here and the food. And then I need to put this in a format that's easy to read in. And I noticed, because I've been testing around a bit, that rotating things was a bitch in the program to actually make it work. I hope that's a word you can use on YouTube. So I decided to just rotate them in the graphics instead. Much easier to in your head think about when you're trying to program this stuff later. So it's 8 by 8 squares. So it should be quite easy. This one starts from 0 and ends at 8, 8. Next starts from 8 and ends at 15, wherever that becomes. And next starts at 16, and the next starts at 24, and so on. So everything is 8 by 8. Then we have our logo, which is not 8 by 8, but I can live with that because it's just one that I needed to figure out the size on later. And the score that's going to be filled in. And we need the different digits for the score, right? We start with this, and I like this program because it's all by keyboard to select everything, so I don't need to go down to the mouse and select. Yeah, I know all programs works like that, but it's all often Control and Shift something, and here is just D is the drawing and so on. Well, I made this one and then save it, and then we go over to the GIMP program, and I loaded in this, prepared of course. So we're going to go to make the canvas size as small as possible. This is important when not having a loading function in our program. So if we have as little data as possible stored in the program, we make our life easier in the editor. There we go. Seems to be fitting in my 128 times 128, and texture should nowadays they do not need to, but for years and years and years they needed to be times 2. So it needed to be 64, 128, 256, 512, and so on in both the width and height direction. So here we go. We have our tile set. We're going to export it. We're going to export it as the tileset.c file. Just replace that. We have to name it, and we get use glib types here, and unclick that one because we're not going to use a glib library. So since that's not the default what you use in C, I don't understand why this is default clicked in. This annoys me. So now we have saved our tile set, and here we got the code again. It's running the OpenGL, and I died directly. Wonderful. So let's go and include our tile set. There we have our image included. And now what I'm going to do this time, we haven't done before, is actually copy and paste code. So last time I've always been coding everything from scratch, right? But this time I actually did the texture part in the last video. So I'm not going to redo that. Just going to copy paste in that here instead. So it enables textures, it binds a texture, it sets a few parameters. It actually should generate the texture before it binds it. There we go. Hope that's the correct order. And image data was snake TileSet. Yeah, I didn't save the image when I'm recording this, since I made the image before, so I think that was correct. Let's see if it complains. Texture ID does not exist. Let's add a texture ID. So that's the identification that this texture will have on the graphics card, and of course nothing happened because we haven't used the texture yet, so that is fine. Let's see, so everything seems right here. We send in the width and the height and the RGBA. Not totally sure that the texture was RGBA or RGB. We will see. Okay, so now let's try to draw and use the texture somewhere. Let's see where the display function, here we draw a quad. So how did we draw a texture? The only thing that I did last time was adding GL text chords. So that sounds fine. Let's add that to this code and see what's happened. When you do code, I mean, copy and paste as much as you can, Google as much as you can. Stack Overflow has been great for years. I know it's a bit toxic comments on that site. I got a lot of critique of that, and I do understand that. Well, this didn't work clearly. So I forgot something. Let's check this other program. It's glutpost clear. Enable. Did I call the init? I copied over the function, but did I call it? So we should call that after we have initialized OpenGL. So could call it in there. So here we go. Now we are done. Not really, but I can see if I zoom in here that it actually is displaying the tile set. Can't find the display function. Here we go. I always think the display function is on top and it isn't. So now, how do you make a tile set from this image then? So we loaded in the image, but I was saying that the tile set just consists of these parts and that they should be easy to load because they was on multiple of 8s, right? So we have the full image in memory now, and it displays the full image. We just need small parts from it, and those small parts is the tiles, and the image itself is the tile set. So we need a struct, and let's call it tile set. And this struct should consist of x and y. And we need a number of tile sets, and we should probably call them x, y, 1 and 2, which is the start of a tile and end of the tile. We know that the sizes of most tiles, but anyhow. So here we can define our tiles. So first tile would be 0, 0 to 7, 7. Next would be 8, 8 to 15, 15. Next one would be 16. Oh, no. It would be 8, 0. Of course, sorry. 0, 0, 8, 0, 16, 0, 24, 0 to 7, 0, 15, 0, 23, 0, 31, 0. And if it confused me there, maybe it confused you guys. So let's see if we can explain what I'm doing here. There we go. I mean, I understand that most of you looking at these kind of videos have no problem with understanding what's going on here, right? So, but we have the full image. That's our big square here, and we have our first tile here, our first tile, and that one is of course from 0 to 7, and the next one is from 8 to 15. And then on the other direction, that's the y, of course, and that's just the same. So it's x chord and y chord, and we get that tile there. So we have 4 tiles now, hopefully. Let's try to render just one of those tiles. Let's see, the textures apparently go from 0 to 1, so I can't use these numbers directly. I need to convert them to 0 to 1 in that scale. And to do that, let's figure out the size of the tiles. I actually have the size when I'm thinking about it. We got the width of the texture there and the height, so you could use that. I'm not totally liking that one, but sure. Copy that one there, keep it there while I duplicate this, because this is high chance of not working first. So let's comment out what's really working. And then we have tile set. I want the first tile. I want x1. But I want to divide it by the size of the image. So we get a float number between 0 and 1 as the coordinate. Because text coordinates, if I have OpenGL here, text coordinates goes from 0 to 1. So that's why. And this becomes very hard to read if I should do like this for all of them. I wonder if this is a good idea. And we have y, and that's should be divided by height. That's our first coordinate. And then we need the next. Let's copy up this. We need it 4 times. So let's see, on this one we need second y, and this one needs the second x. second y. This one needs the second x, but the first y. We can delete the old coordinates. And now comes the question, will it render every square in this game with the first tile? Have we managed to... wasn't that the name of it? TileSet with a big T? Okay, let's change it to a small one. So it renders something different at least, but this doesn't look correct to me. So let's see here. Yep. If I do not specify the full tile, then maybe it doesn't display the full tile. Could be. So this could work better. Might not work at all. But did something. But it doesn't look correct at all. And since we are so far away from how it should be looking, I'm guessing that I have no alpha channel saved. And there we go. That looks much better. So when I saved it, apparently I didn't save with alpha channel. Now, run that again. Clearly see that it's green. One is red here and the other is different shades of green. That's because I'm setting different colors up here. So let's just cancel out what I'm doing there with setting just white. I have nothing else going on. And that's probably my first tile. I mean, it's not in the right direction. Let's check again. Yeah, looks like the first tile to me. It's just looking the wrong direction. And that's the thing with the knowing the coordinate system and rotating things. I always mess that up. That's why I did draw this in all directions, because it's going to be so much easier later. So let's try to change this for another tile. Which tiles did we have? We have that one, and 1, 2, 3. Let's pick this one, number 3 here. So with an offset from 0, that becomes a 2. And there we go. I have another tile. Now, of course, we shouldn't have render the same tile all the time. That's a little bit silly. So let's change that here. So we're going to introduce, let's see where we should put it. I will put it up here. Tile ID. And then let's use the tile ID instead. Apparently I only changed one of these and it still worked. It happens to those tiles I selected had the same y coordinates. So it didn't matter, but anyhow, that was a bug. And here let's change tile ID to 0. Going to modify this later, so it's the correct tile. But just for the time being, let's select just a few tiles and see what happens. That's actually mostly how I do stuff. I think about, like, I think it should work like this, then we try it, and if it's wrong, then it's wrong, and then we fix it. You can go on paper and pen and really think about before you code how it should look like, or you can just try it in code. So we have 4, 5, 6 of them. I do not have 6 here, so let's fix that. How many should I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, I don't need it. I just need those 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4. I need a 4 times 4 here. So this is second row of the tiles. I need 2 more of those. Actually, now I'm specifying tiles that I will not use. And I don't know if I really should do that or not. Or, I mean, do anyone care really? I also notice right now when 24 should be on the last one here, so I messed up here also. Should still be, let's think here, 00 to 77. Yeah, that's correct actually. And this should be to 15. Yeah, that's also correct. Okay, I didn't mess up. Oh, that's great. Great news. It happens a lot. Either that I do mess up or I think I mess up. Was that one thing in the coding, like you can't trust yourself? I mean, you should, but in a way, you can't. I mean, the computer will tell you if you were wrong, and it's always you that's wrong. It's never a computer. So. There we go. Now I have a lot of tiles. Let's see what happens. And yeah, that we seem to getting somewhere. Let's actually try to select the correct tiles for once. So these greens here should be the food, and the food is that one, and I think that one is on 3-3. So which tile is that? So not this one, it's not here, it's 3-3, it's one of these. Is this the one? I think that could be it. And what's the offset number for that one? 0. Is it 10? Okay, I think it's, so start with 0 there. So let's see if that worked. It did not. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I was off kind of badly. Did I start counting with 0? There we go. I wonder if the size on this window is correct. It's 400, 400. This one isn't square. It looks correct when I zoom out. I zoom in. It's probably because the screen is like not square either, right? So probably shouldn't have this resolution. Let's try a 4:2 resolution. Well, that looks better, I would say. That is fine for now. Then we have the background kinda, when it should be nothing. We need a tile that is nothing. And let's pick this one or that one. 4:4. I only have. Okay, so this one that is 3:2. So that's this one, I guess. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Starting to happen something. And now we need a wall around it. Let's see if I can play, by the way. I can, but oh, there we go. Look at that. Still missing a head on the snake, but set they had. That was tile 1, which of course is wrong then. So we need a wall at least. So let's see what we have for walls in here. These guys are the walls I thought about using, but it's much easier to use this one. So I think we will use that one. It's 4, 3, 4. So it's, let's see, it should be, is it this one? Yeah, that has to be that one. So it's one more than this guy. So it's number 11. Yeah, clearly doesn't read up the tile set correct. Because we have a black border there. We shouldn't have. I used this correctly. It goes from 0 to 7, from 7 to 15, 15 to 23. Since 24 is the next tile. 7, 15, 23, 31, 20, 16. That should be 16. And if that, in that case, this one should be 8. Oh, look, I have a background. Well, the wrong background, but that was going to be the walls. So that was going to be the walls. What did we have here? Don't remember. There we go. I mean, the game is almost done, right? Just few tweaks on when we are there. We need the head though. So we have, let's see, we have more heads than one because of Hydra. So how do we know which one to use? Well, we have somewhere we have the speed delta where I'm going to move the next time. Let's use that. So move that up there so we can access it from the draw function. And we have if delta, where we're going to move the snake the next time. If that happens to be 0, that's in the start of the game before we even done anything. So that's not that interesting. But it is interesting in the other direction. So if we're going to the left, that's interesting. Or if you're going to the right and up and down. So right, up and down. And then we're going to set another tile ID. So let's just put some tile in here. That's the wrong tiles, but it's a tile, so and if it's none of those, that's when we're starting, and then go back to the first tile again. So we will default to display the snake as facing upwards. Let's see if it switches tiles. No. Actually, I'm questioning if it's actually drawing ahead on this snake at all. Let's see the draw function. Or the function that renders the memory. Draw snake. It does draw ahead. Okay. So I have a head. So if the delta is to the left, going to the left, then we should draw snake that faces the left. That's that one. So that's number 4, 5, 6. So the offset 0. That's number 5. That was facing left, then facing right is the next one. And we're facing up, that's that one. That's number 14 or 13 with offset 0. That one is it 9? This 8. And default was facing up. And it overrides it. Okay, and that tells me why we had no effect on it. Look, got the snake head. It's also facing the wrong direction all the time. So let's see. Down, going up it faces left. Going left it faces down. Going down it faces right. And right it faces down. Yeah, that made no sense. Is it turned 90 degrees? Up it faces left. So when we're going up, it faces left. Okay, so this one is, you can just swap those around. And I'm taking the guess that we should swap these two other also. Okay, so default it faces left. So up faces down. And down faces up. Left, it's hard to see. It goes too fast. Let's slow it down a bit. Do we have a delay somewhere? There we go. The idle function should wait a second. Okay, now everything updates very slowly. Okay, so I'm facing left, that's the correct face. Let's go to the right. That's the wrong face, obviously. Going down. That's the wrong face. And up, that's also the wrong face. So if up and down was wrong, left and right also wrong, and it went just too slow here. And that's updated a little bit faster. Going right, show the wrong right face. Going to left is wrong. Up is correct. Right is correct. Down is correct. But left is not correct because that's the same as right. Going left is still wrong. That's the same as right, which really surprised me. So what do we have? We have so this one. Yeah. What we're going to do is I'm going to figure this out. I'm just going to skip forward in a video when I have the correct values here. because it's just going to take too much time. Okay, so I have now figured out what all coordinates means, and I reduced it down to just those that are used. So I have the wall, we have the snake facing up, down, left, right. We have the tongue of the snake facing up, down, left, right. We have snake body 1 and 2. We have the snake food, we have an empty slot, we have the game over tile, I selected that one there. We have a logo, that's this big one here. We have a digits 1 to 9, and that's these guys here. And it looks like this. It just takes a long time to figure out those numbers. That's all. It's not hard, but it takes a longer time to figure those out. And I updated the code a bit here. So let's try to add in the logo. I already added in a logo offset. So if we change this to an 8, then you can see that we have now a space on top to put the logo in, right? And we're going to put in the logo just easiest way possible. I mean, that's how I roll. It's possible to do an easy way, and like we should refactor this and create new classes and make it really looking nice and all of that. Like, does it work? And if it does, that's fine. Let's see. Tile, we can reuse the tile here. Just tile ID is 14. Move that up there. And where should we draw the logo then? That becomes the issue. So let's see. Delete this stuff. Yeah. Let's just set it to 0, 0 to start with. And we need to draw a square of some sort. After a while, you know it's minus 1, 1, 1, minus 1. That's how you draw a square. And the other one is 1, 1, minus 1, minus 1. So, didn't like that though, too many arguments. Too many arguments for function. 3f, it takes 3 floats. Well, yeah, it drew the logo just all over the place. So, I mean, it's kind of almost working. So let's guess that it's going to be a fourth of the screen, since the screen is minus 1 to 1, and dot 5 should be a fourth of that. Yeah, doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's stretched, but just stretch this a bit. Now it looks fine. So I think we will draw the score now. And let's have the score from the snake length times 100, because it's more fun if it's higher scores. And then we need to draw each digit. And we had 5 of them. In the image I have 5 digits there. So let's try to draw those. So we need the first digit of our score, and that's our score. And then we need to isolate the last digit, so 432, we need to isolate the 2. So I have source divided by 10 times 10. So I have 400, what did I say? 92 divided by 10, so we have 49 times 10, so we have 490. So we have 492 minus 490, then we get the 2. So now we have taken out the 2. And of course, for next time when we want to take the next digit, we need just to divide the score by 10. So we got 49 and isolate the 9, and the last is the last one. And it doesn't matter if we do that to a 0 later, we just become a lot of zeros. And then we need the tile ID for the digit, and I start here. And that is one more than logo. Interesting. And logo is 14, so this is 15. So 15 plus digit is these elements that we're going to draw out. And then we need to, of course, copy and paste how to make a quad again. There we go. And this one's going to be big, but let's see that it draws it. And I got the 0. Of course, that won't change now when the snake gets longer, because it's just going to be the last or first 0 that's drawn. So let's make it a lot smaller, and let's move this depending on where we are. So yeah, I'm going to cut here until I figure out the correct numbers here. Okay, so I have figured out the correct numbers. And here we see that I add some number for each digit, and I do it in reverse. So 4 minus 1, which means that I will display, let's look at it. I will display the last one, draw the last one first, because that's the first one we get from our formula. Then we get the next one, so we need to go move left and so on. Oh yeah, we could have that open, by the way. So now we almost have a functional game. Do I have a reset? No, I do not. Should actually add in some function for resetting the game, because now I need to restart it. And since this is dragging out a bit now, I think I will just add in that and make a skip in the video. Sorry about that, but it's going up an hour, so let's do that. Okay, I've been coding a bit and debugging a bit, and added in the tongue also of the snake, except that it's more or less the same. I found a few errors had fixed, and we are here. I mean, it looks pretty good. The aspect ratio is still wrong, but it looks like a snake game. So let's try to actually finish up this and fix the aspect ratio, which I should have done a long time ago, but let's fix it. That probably works. There we go. Yeah, I added in the reset also, so if I press R here, it just restarts. So you can download the source code from the link in the description. The image, you can find that also. So you have both C files that's needed. Then you need the OpenGL, and the free GLUT is a good library for that. I do not provide make files, sadly. It just depends on what system you are using, which compiler and what environment. I don't have any make files for my environment. It's my IDE that's handling that, and I think I will make a movie video about the IDE on a later date. But let's just die here. Add a timeout, so after time it will restart. I think it's like 10 seconds, which is annoying, but you need to let the player be able to read the score, and then it just restarts, or if you press R it restarts. Yeah, so that's TileSet. I see one error in it, that when it dies you can move one step more. Let's see here, I'll run into the wall here, and it pops up on the other side. It runs one iteration too many, it render once more than it should, but it doesn't hurt the code in any way. It would hurt the code if I could hit the square in the bottom here, because then it would go out of memory for the head and everything might crash, but this will always go in memory, so to speak. So it's not a seg fault. It will never seg fault because of that. Something to fix, but I don't know. It's fine. I mean, you can run into the wall. Yeah, so that's the snake game. See you.